Hello everyone, myself Rashmi Arora, Assistant Professor Pharmacology, Chameli Devi Institute of Pharmacy, Indore, welcomes you all to the YouTube channel of Chameli Devi Institute of Pharmacy. Today, I have picked a very important topic in context to the pharmacotherapy as well as the pathophysiological approach. The disease is congestive cardiac failure. So, let's start. Before moving down to the congestive cardiac failure, we should know where it lies in the pharmacology. Basically, the pharmacology is linked with many streams like molecular pharmacology, which has the molecular basis of a disease like pathophysiological approach comes under the molecular pharmacology. Then pharmacodynamics part means the therapy which we are using to treat the disease, how it acts in the body. Then comes the chemotherapy part, which deals mainly with the antimicrobial agents to treat the ailments. Pharmacokinetic stream, it gives the information about the absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion of the drugs. And then comes the system pharmacology, on which all the pharmacotherapy act. This system pharmacology has several fields to study, like immunopharmacology deals with the immune system, neuropharmacology deals with the nervous system and the brain. CVS stands for cardiovascular system. Cardiovascular system pharmacology deals with the blood vessels and heart. Respiratory pharmacology deals with the ailments and the pharmacological features of the lungs. And then the GI pharmacology, that is dealing with the stomach and gastrointestinal part. So let's take up the cardiovascular pharmacology, in which we have taken up the congestive cardiac failure disease. Congestive cardiac failure is a condition of heart when the heart is unable to supply sufficient blood flow. Here the blood flow means the blood as well as the oxygen to meet the needs of the body. There are various terms related to the heart failure. These are cardiac arrest. Asystole means when the heart stops beat. Cardiomyopathy, when the heart muscles they undergo degeneration, which could be due to ischemia, which could be due to the increased size of the heart. And the myocardial infarction. In this case, a particular part of the myofibril or the heart cell gets completely undergo necrosis because of the complete lack of oxygen as well as the blood supply to that particular part. There are various symptoms associated with congestive cardiac failure like shortness of breath, swelling of legs, chronic lack of energy means fatigue, difficulty in sleeping at night especially because of breathing problems, then swollen and tender abdomen, loss of appetite occurs usually, repeated cough with frothy sputum, increased urination at night, and the mind becomes always in a condition of confusion or associated with impaired memory. Symptoms are also different gender wise, like there are some symptoms which can be seen only in men and there are some symptoms which can be seen only in women. In men, pain in left arm has been observed. On the contrary, women do not feel pain in arm. However, they feel fatigue in the whole body. In male, breaking out in cold sweat is very common along with the stomach discomfort. But in females, anxiety and sleep disturbances are on the higher side along with the nauseatic feeling. The symptoms which are both present in men and women are high blood pressure, feeling of dizziness, rapid and irregular heartbeat, back pain and shortness of breath. There are various causes of heart failure. The main two are, one is preventive category cause and another is unpreventive category. Preventable category includes the myocardial infarction, ischemic heart disease, hypertension, valvular heart disease, and cardiomyopathy. These are all the secondary basically diseases which are associated with the heart failure. We can prevent these causes by having a proper pharmacotherapy, and thereby we can prevent the heart from getting its failure. However, what is not under our hand is unpreventable causes. Those are related with heredity, menopause in women, gender, and age. Now, before moving down to the pharmacotherapy part, we must know about what the disease is so that we can take up the right medicine for the right cause. Heart failure is mainly accompanied by the neurohormonal responses. The two major systems which involved or which forms the basis of pathophysiology of congestive cardiac failure are sympathetic nervous system activation and renin-angiotensin aldosterone system activation. With this flow diagram, we will able to learn how the heart undergoes failure. When there is improper or insufficient blood flow to the particular part of heart, that will lead to the decreased cardiac output. This decreased cardiac output thereby causing the release of renin from the kidney, and this renin converts into angiotensin 1 in the presence of angiotensinogen, and this angiotensin 1 gets converted into the angiotensin 2 enzyme in the presence of angiotensin converting enzyme. The angiotensin 2 has a vasoconstrictory nature. Also, parallelly, the decreased cardiac output causes the stimulation of sympathetic nervous system. This system gets activated under this decreased cardiac output influence and directly causes the vesicles or the blood vessels to constrict. As soon as the angiotensin 2 gets released or formed from the angiotensin 1, it also stimulates the release of aldosterone. This aldosterone, when released, it has the nature to retain sodium and water in the body, or you can say that it creates the edema-like condition in the body. Fluid retention occurs, and this fluid retention ultimately increases the elevated filling pressure. The elevated filling pressure also gets increased up when the blood vessels gets constricted under the influence of sympathetic nervous system activation as well as the angiotensin 2. Sympathetic nervous system activation directly linked with the cardiac remodeling. Aldosterone also linked with cardiac remodeling, and elevated cardiac filling pressure leads to cardiac remodeling. Cardiac remodeling is basically the increase in the size of heart. When the heart is overloaded with the fluid, or you can say the filling pressure, then the heart muscles, they tend to fight up the situation and thereby increasing their size so that they push or they pump out the sufficient blood to the whole body parts. Under this influence, they start increasing their size. This is called cardiac remodeling. However, this is the last stage of heart to get fail, because after the cardiac remodeling, it will not attain again the previous position and ultimately leads to the heart failure. Renin-angiotensin aldosterone system activation and sympathetic nervous system activation both contribute equally to the condition of heart failure by the stimulation of vasoconstriction as well as the retaining of sodium and water in the body. Our pharmacotherapy of congestive cardiac failure tries to put some blockages on those particular systems, so that the activation of these two systems, neurohormonal systems, gets suppressed and the heart starts reviving back. For that, the pharmacotherapy includes the use of cardiotonics, which are positive inotropic agents, and they causes the increased force of contraction of the heart, so that the cardiac output get increased up. Angiotensin 1 and angiotensin 2 blockers, that is angiotensin receptor blockers, they are losartan, candesartan, irbesartan, etc. And then the ACE inhibitors, angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors, which will not allow the conversion of angiotensin 1 into angiotensin 2. Those are captopril, enalapril, and lisinopril. They are acting as a vasodilator in nature because they suppresses the vasoconstriction occurs because of the release of angiotensin 2. Then calcium channel blockers, verapamil, diltiazem, nifedipine, they are behaving as a adjuvant therapy. Then diuretics, spironolactone, chlorthalidone, and furosemide, basically potassium sparing diuretics, are more effective in case of congestive cardiac failure therapy. They causes the decrease in the fluid retention. Then beta blockers, propranolol, atenolol, metoprolol, beta selective, cardioselective drugs basically. And these drugs, they decreases the heart rate and thereby decreasing the load on heart. Same with alpha blockers, prazosin, terazosin, doxazosin. And then the vasodilators, those are potassium channel openers basically, which are protective for heart, that is sodium nitroprusside, chromocalin, and pinacidil. Also, ACE inhibitors, they have the additional effect by increasing the vasodilatation, because when ACE inhibitors are given to the patient, they stop or they block the degradation of bradykinin present in the body into its inactive peptides. Because when the bradykinin is freely available, then it acts on the receptors and causes the release of nitric oxide and prostacyclin. Both have the vasodilatory effects. That is how the ACE inhibitors have the dual effect of causing the vasodilatation, one by stopping the degradation of bradykinin into its inactive peptides, and second by blocking the release of angiotensin 2, which is a vasoconstrictor. Again, back to this flow chart. Here we are going to see how the different pharmacotherapeutic agents act where and when to stop the heart failure like condition. Like digoxin, when given, it blocks, it increases the force of contraction. When the force of contraction increases, heart pumps faster, and this is how it increases the cardiac output somewhat. Then beta blockers, they decreases the release of renin, or they blocks the release of renin, thereby blocking the whole renin angiotensin aldosterone system. Then ACE inhibitors, they inhibit the conversion of angiotensin 1 into angiotensin 2 and thereby stopping the vasoconstriction effect. Then comes the vasodilators. Vasodilators blocks the action of sympathetic nervous system, that they blocks the vasoconstriction and thereby dilating the vessels, and this is how they increases the cardiac output. Then the diuretics. Diuretics stops the retention of sodium and water and thereby decreasing the elevated cardiac filling pressure and stops the heart to undergo cardiac remodeling like conditions. After the pharmacological treatment therapy, always this doctor prescribed some non-pharmacological adjuvant therapy, that is a regular proper low sodium diet along with the exercise. Low sodium diet includes the light proteins, green leafy vegetables, fats like olives and avocados, whole grains, and lots of fruits, which increases the potassium ion level in the body. And potassium ion is basically protective for heart. Along with it, the people can have nuts which are full of antioxidants as well. And regular exercise of 40 minutes, walk for 40 minutes, or cardio exercises in the gym are always recommended by the doctor to make your heart feel fit and healthy. So, in the nutshell, what we have to remember about the pharmacotherapy is the 4D system. First D is digitalis, positive inotropic agent, cardiotonic. Second D is use of diuretics, which decreases the load on heart. Third D is dilators, which dilates the blood vessels and thereby increasing the cardiac output. And fourth D is diet, a well-planned low sodium diet. I hope this presentation gives you the complete information regarding the pathophysiological approach and the pharmacotherapy of congestive cardiac failure. Thank you so much.